完璧などありえない。この世界は不完全だから美しい。もう
バカ
何？
俺は海賊王になる。なんて美味しさなの。
力を渡した時に言ったことを覚えているかい？くれ。違う、そこじゃない。
変態遅い。
Hello and welcome to More Than Hentai, a podcast that is here to show that anime is just far more than tentacles and catgirls. There's also countless stories of love, loss, laughs, hope, horror, and happiness that are just dying to be found. And I, Brenda White, the Salt and Pepper Senpai, I'm here to help you find them. More Than Hentai is proudly powered by our friends over at Audio Technica and Dashwater, so please go upgrade your audio and hydration games today. And joining on this episode is my fourth returning guest to the Riverside.fm studio. He's a dear friend of mine who loves anime, the Gold Coast Titans, and his beloved family. You last heard from me on episode 6 of More Than Hentai, unpacking the cute and severely underrated love after world domination. You can find him on them socials at DANEPEVY. Dane, you bloody legend, welcome back to the studio. How might you be doing, my friend?
Mate, I'm back. Thanks so much for having me again. Yeah, two-time guest on the anime podcast. I love it. And I'm a bit sad now that we've mentioned the Gold Coast Titans. I know I'm going to get a bit of hate on that, but they're 5-0. That's it. That's just how it rolls. But yeah, glad to be back. Glad to be talking more anime. And we're talking more of the romantic comedy, which must be definitely the genre you introduced to me. And I don't know if I would have found my way here if it wasn't for you, my friend, but I'm definitely deep down that well now.
I'm very thankful that you joined me on these romantic adventures that we're going on here in the anime world because, it's a beautiful walk. And yeah, it feels great doing it alone, but it feels even better doing it together. So I'm happy that we're walking hand in hand here during this rom-com journey. And yeah, sadly, I don't think we're ever going to get a second season of Love After World Domination. We're not really going to know what happens there, but episode 6 of MTH will always live on and we'll have those memories. And we're going to make plenty more today and in future episodes, I'm sure. But yeah, we don't really need to go back into your history and unpack your humble beginnings with anime. But I want to maybe ask instead, what have you been watching lately? Tell me the things that are on your current watch list before maybe we jump into this episode's title in focus for this version of More Than Hentai.
Yeah. Look, I've still been grinding my way through One Piece. As you know, mate, it is the mountain never gets shorter. The road just keeps getting longer. I do not see the peak of it. I think I'm at around about 820, 830. Boy. Mate, it has been a journey. It has been a journey. But there's people in the audience there, whether it's Nato J or it's Benny, that just keep me uplifting, sending me a lot of Instagram love on it, and keeps me going, my friend. But outside of a bit of One Piece, I have fallen into something else. Something else on the back of this episode anime that we were going to talk about, but A Sign of Affection.
Yes.
Yeah. And shout out to yourself and the guest after listening to the episode. I think it was about Your Lie in April that actually mentioned about the anime. And I sort of found it on the back of this anime that we're talking about today, and I'm loving it. And it is definitely not one that I would have looked at and thought this is right up my alley, but I am hooked, especially coming off watching A Silent Voice. Yeah. A Silent Voice, for anyone that's ever watched it, always has a special place in my heart. It will always make me tear up and cry every time I watch it. And I'm getting so many vibes, very similar from A Sign of Affection in all the good ways.
It is beautiful. It is one of my favorite new anime of 2024 so far, and I'm happy that you're enjoying it. The first season has completed, so any listeners out there that are keen on checking it out, you can watch that full first season front to back without any delays. It is beautiful. It is heartfelt, and it's very eye-opening and interesting for me. Like, I don't know anything much like to do with sign language, but I really like how respectful they are towards sign and deaf people within this anime. Like, I enjoy that I'm not only getting entertained and my heart is getting very warm when I watch A Sign of Affection because it's adorable as hell and very sweet, but I like that I'm learning, like, you can actually learn certain signs that they're doing throughout the episodes where they're talking and interacting with one another through sign. And I'm like, man, it's just so so well done. And it's just easy comfort food with a great message and a big heart. And yeah, it's one of the best new anime of this year for me. And we've been getting spoiled because there's some good stuff dropping in 2024 already. But yeah, Sign of Affection, double thumbs up from me.
So good.
Have you finished the whole first season yet, or are you just working your way through it?
No. I'm so close. I think I've got about 3 or 4 episodes, and I'm so I'll probably watch it over the next day or so. But it has just been so good. As you sort of said, it's just been such a nice comfort food, going from something like the grind of One Piece, catching up on, I'm waiting for every, like the Demon Slayer to drop. I'm waiting for My Hero Academia to drop, all these new ones coming up. And it's just been such a nice left turn. And it's easy to watch. Like, it's just slow. It's great storytelling. It's all about that communication, the style of art. So much driven by like the emotions, the eyes, the movement of touch and feel, things like that. It's so good. It's so good. And I'm really happy that I sort of found it when I did.
Hell yeah. Any sort of gamers that are listening, like anyone that's in a big fan of like, cozy gaming as far as that subgenre, that's what A Sign of Affection is to me, in a way where it's nice and cozy. It's comfortable. You can sit down in your chair, on your couch, in your bed, however you're consuming your anime, and just sit there and be entertained and have a good time. And when you hit pause or hit stop because you've finished that episode of that season, you're going to walk away feeling good because it's just cozy and cute and sweet and all of those positive adjectives you could throw at it. Like, I can't speak highly enough of A Sign of Affection. So I'm happy you're enjoying it.
I am, mate. It's so good.
Yeah, but we're on that sort of romantic, sweet, full heart track again today, as Dane alluded to at the start there. And so anyone that is stopping on by the More Than Hentai podcast RSS feed for the first time, first and foremost, thank you. Great to have you here. But secondly, if you're curious as to how this podcast works, what we typically do here is I'm joined by a host of friends, co-hosts, enemies, guests, whatever you want to call them. Definitely not an enemy, Dane. I love this man so much. But they're joined here in the studio, and we unpack an anime's first episode front to back. Said anime, the guest or the co-host of my friend is yet to watch. So it's based off a bit of a Q&A, a bit of a back and forth where I get an understanding of their viewing habits, the things they like, they don't like. And then I'm like, I think anime X could be the next thing for you. So then we'll go away, watch that first episode, we regroup here on the podcast, and we unpack it front to back. So we are going to be spoiling the first episode in detail, but we're not going to go beyond that as far as spoilers. We're not going to ruin big plot points, big twists and turns, big payoffs and things like that, because the first season is fully complete at the moment. So there is 13 episodes you can check out of this anime on Crunchyroll. But we're going to be going front to back on episode 1, the high points, the low points, everything else in between, just unpacking it, seeing if it was a worthwhile recommendation. Is it a thumbs up? Is it a thumbs down? So on and so forth. So we're going to hopefully inform, entertain, educate, and everything else in between here. And our title this episode of More Than Hentai is a shoujo romantic comedy known as My Love Story with Yamada-kun at level 999, which was written and illustrated by Mashiro and began serialization on Comic Smart's Ganma manga website in March of 2019, with 8 volumes currently available at time of recording. We are recording on the 18th of April, 2024. A 13-episode anime television adaptation by Madhouse, the studio known for such titles as Death Note, My Love Story, Hunter x Hunter, One Punch Man, Overlord, and Frieren Beyond Journey's End, to name but a few, aired from April to June of 2023. My Love Story with Yamada-kun at level 999 is available currently on Crunchyroll and currently holds a score of 7.81 on my anime list based off 200,000 unique user reviews. And it is currently the 578th most popular anime overall on the website. And the story is as follows. After a boyfriend breaks up with her for another girl, college student Akane Kinoshita wrestles with a broken heart and the memories he left behind. Loading up Forest of Savior, the MMO they used to play together, she forms a plan of attack to get back at her ex-boyfriend through an in-person event for the game. In the process, she runs into someone unexpected. Akito Yamada, a gaming legend who just happens to be in her guild. Desperate for support, Akane ropes the asocial Yamada into helping her with the scheme and lending her a shoulder to cry on. The differences between Akane and Yamada soon become apparent as they spend time together, yet they cannot help but notice each other's inequalities. As the two gain more experience with one another in and out of the game, their tentative acquaintance may level up in a way neither expects. So the first episode of My Love Story with Yamada-kun at level 999 is called This Is Why I Can't Stand Gamer Guys. Dane, what is your general feeling, your general vibe after watching the first episode? Give me your thoughts.
All right. How do I say this? Quite straightforward. I loved it. Because I don't know how else to say this, to be honest. I really enjoyed it. Like this, we sort of touched on this. This was a lot of comfort food. It was real left field from what I've been watching. And it was something that regardless of what I was doing, it allowed me just to slow down. It was so cute. It was so wholesome. I love the fact they had the gaming side of things in there. And it touched all the good sides. So I really enjoyed it, my friend.
I did too, and I did a rewatch today before we recorded. And I think one thing that I really like with this anime, like we do see a lot of shoujo manga and anime out there that leans heavily into that sort of romantic comedy type of archetype, but they're usually set in high school or like middle school and stuff, where I like that this has sort of jumped a little forward and it's a little bit more mature in some ways, where like meeting Akane, yeah, she's a university student. She's, a 20-something young woman out there sort of attacking life and doing the best she can. So we're sort of getting away from that very cliched, but still very great. Love it. I can't get enough of high school romance, high school drama. We're getting away from that and sort of grounding it in a world and in a universe that's a bit more relatable for the viewers, I guess, like ourselves. Obviously, there's some younger people that watch it and can still relate, but it feels a little bit more real to me, where I'm like, man, I remember being 20 and dealing with this nonsense and dealing with heartbreak and whatever else. I remember being in these sort of mindsets and these moments. So it was very, very familiar in a sad yet happy way for me. And yeah, I loved it the second time around. Watching it again today, it still made me feel just as happy that I took a chance on it last year when it started airing in April. So yeah, about 2 months ago, it started airing initially. Yeah, wow. So yeah, happy anniversary. My love story with Yamada-kun at level 999.
And this is definitely one of those ones, like, I don't know if anyone else is like this, and I was only thinking about this today, whether people are gravitated to animes that have got these long names. Like, so, like obviously you got like your One Punch, your Death Note, your Naruto, your One Piece, like all these like bangers that sort of have those short, sharp names. And so when you've got these animes, like when you're scrolling through the hundreds of anime that are out there and you've got like these, I don't know, what's the one that's the slime?
Reincarnated as a slime?
Yeah. And then there's so many of them, like, I don't know. What's like, I made a sandwich while in Kia, trying to level up my Gyarados to level 27. Like those sort of like ones where you're just like, yeah, okay, I'll keep scrolling on. But this is one of those ones where you recommended to me, I jumped in, and it was just such a nice watch. And yeah, I really enjoyed it. And the fact, it's interesting too, because now that I've been watching A Sign of Affection, it actually goes the other way in the sense of like with Akane, which we'll talk about being the main character, female. She's actually older. She's a college student, and the boy that she actually gets interested into is actually in high school. So I don't know whether that's a common thing or they've sort of flipped it on the script of this anime, because usually it's the other way around. Like you've got the younger girl that's fascinated or fixated on the older guy. So I don't know whether they've sort of played on that in this one here, but it works really well.
It certainly feels like there's a bit of a role reversal there. Like, yeah, you typically see the high school girl or the middle school girl crushing on the older guy that's so much more mature and has lived so much more of a life than them. So yeah, they've sort of inversed it here, which is great. And I love that you mentioned the anime with the long, ridiculous name.
I don't know if it's just me, but there are so many out there that I can't recite right now that have just so many long names, and you're like this could be an absolute banger, but I just don't know.
Every season you get a couple to do with like reincarnation, where they're reincarnated as a young child in like a fantasy realm, and the one that's dropped in this sort of recent season is, I was reincarnated as the 7th prince so I can take my time perfecting my magical ability. Like, some of the names of them are just absurd, but yeah, some of them work. Some of them are great.
Imagine trying to do a podcast on that and going, all right, welcome to the episode of like, blah, 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 and episode 2.
Yeah, I'll have to take 3 breaths. So
yeah, I know.
Yeah, my love story with Yamada-kun at level 999. It's still a long one, but it is different to the usual isekai tropes we get, where they're reborn as the son of a rich king and now have some shrewd business sense and are going to fix the economy and whatever else. Like, there's so much of that every season without fail. And I'm happy that this doesn't really fall into that bucket. Like, it's got that same naming type of convention, but weaving straight into like the gaming concepts as well with like at level 999. So you're like, oh, okay, so this is gaming related. I can sort of relate to this being a gamer at heart as well. So it's a good time. And the episode itself, it's a bit of a cold open. We don't see the OP to begin with. It starts and we're introduced to Akane, and she's sitting in a cafe with her boyfriend Takuma. She's drinking a very well animated cup of tea. It made me want to have a cup of tea immediately. Food and drink in anime always just makes me very famished.
It's so good. Ever since watching Food Wars, but everything looks so good. Even the Studio Ghibli stuff, makes me hungry. Yeah. But yeah, it does look great. That coffee, that tea, so good.
Yeah, so I was very thirsty in the first few seconds of reviewing episode 1. This is why I can't stand Gamer Guys again today. And yeah, she's sort of staring at a cup of tea. They're sitting in this booth at a cafe. And then, Takuma, her boyfriend, apologizes first. And he goes, I'm sorry, but I've met a girl that he likes. And in this moment, there's a bit of a non-react from Akane here. Like she's just processing it, I guess, trying to understand what she's just heard. But then with her inner thought, she's like, I guess that's why he's been pretty cold towards me lately. And so it's a bit of a sad, very numb open, but then straight away it cuts into the OP. The track Gradiation is the song that they use through the OP by a band called Carnibou. And it goes from this really sad, somber, this poor girl's just getting heartbroken, to this funky little ditty, and she's like, bam, 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 bam. Everyone's having a good time.
Yeah.
And it really threw me off.
Yeah. And she's like, okay. Yeah, and it really when I watched this the first time I watched this, I was like, man, this is a real Jerry Maguire moment where like he takes her to like a public area, like a public place, and then basically just says, you're fired from the relationship. And then like she's just sitting there just trying to think about it, monologuing in her head, like what sort of happened, with a smile still on her face, no reaction with any sort of face sort of thing. But it's just purely just going like, I guess he's been distant. And he also, I'm pretty sure he says in the scene, like, I've met someone in the game that we've been playing. Yeah. And so then it sort of opens up to be like, oh, wow, like, the game that we were playing that you sort of introduced me to, you've been cheating on me with someone there. And then, go straight into the ditty, bang.
It's really, really nasty, yeah. So that part you just mentioned, that gets dropped the second after the OP ends. So we get this real funky bop. They throw a lot of random characters on the screen. So we're like, okay, here's the ensemble we're going to meet over these 13 episodes. Looks like a good fun time, really vibrant and colorful and cutesy and whimsical. And then, OP ends. We're back in that cafe. And Takuma is adding more context to this situation. He's like, I met a girl in the MMO that we love to play so much together. Met this girl in Forest of the Savior, and she likes me too. And we start to see in this moment that Akane is realizing what's happened, that they've met in this game. So he's sort of, I guess, potentially been cheating on her or seeing her at the same time that he's still with Akane. So you're like, man, this son of a bitch, like Takuma, you son of a gun. I would throw that hot tea at you and storm out and make a scene. But I guess that is the tactic of doing like a public area breakup, right? Yeah. You feel that they're going to keep it calm and cool and not make a scene. But I would have just went, cop this delicious looking tea, whack.
Take this,
you son of a bitch. I'm out of here.
Yes, son of a bitch.
And I'm not giving you your items back because we find
out. That's right. I want to unpack that, because that message, I was like, you son of a bitch. Because that's nasty.
Yeah, so after this scene in the cafe, we flash forward and we're in Akane's apartment. We're introduced to her best friend Momo, and she's in shock as to what's happening, and she's trying to be a bit of a voice of reason, talking like Akane off the depression ledge about, you can't be sulking, you got to keep living your life, attend class, all this kind of thing. But she's reading through her text messages that she got from Takuma, and they're still sort of processing this moment. And Momo makes a really funny line here that made me crack, where she's like, who knew home wrecking went down in video games too? And I'm like,
yeah, because she does give a dig into Akane about like, wait, you got dumped on like an MMO? Like, how's that happen, sort of thing? But the home wrecking with that's crazy.
Yeah, it makes me paranoid. I'm like, I'm never playing video games again. I can't trust anybody I'm playing with now.
Yeah, the deep underground of it, underbelly. But is this when she's like, then she sort of leaves and she's like, all right, well, look, don't lose too much sleep. Make sure you go to classes. You don't want to fall behind sort of thing. And this is when she's sort of like, yeah, you're right. Like, I'm a bit down at the moment. I wonder if he's sort of logged on, and she sort of opens up the game just to see if he's, because this is where she gets the text message first.
Yeah. So she's got the text from Takuma, and Momo's still there at the time, and this text message that we see the phone on the shot there, and Takuma's saying, hey, can you please return the equipment that he lent her in the game, as it was very rare. And he ends with the text message, and it's real nasty and real like piece of shit act here, where he's like, please do it, I'm counting on you.
I'm counting on you. That I'm counting on you rubbish. No, it's like, yeah, I'm so sorry this happened. Oh, by the way, that stuff was pretty rare. Thanks again. I'm counting on you.
Yeah.
Like, go eat a dick, mate.
Yeah.
I'm not doing anything for you.
Dirty
and she's
dog.
dirty too, because she's like, she spent money. She spent in-game currency on this thing just to try and be like, spend some time with this guy.
Yeah, like we find out throughout this episode that she wasn't a gamer. She jumped into this game with Takuma because she just wants to spend more time with her partner. She wants to, enjoy things collectively and have fun together. So yeah, she jumps into Forest of Savior for that. But before Momo bails and she's given her like, remain positive. I like there's a line here she also throws after she reads that text message. Akane shows her the phone. And she's like, you know what? Breaking up with him, that was the right move. This guy sucks. Clearly from this message, like this guy's a piece of poo. Move on out, move on up type of thing. So Momo's like, got to go to class, see you later. She bails. And yeah, that's where Akane's sort of reflecting by herself in the apartment. Life will go on types of vibes. And yeah, she logs into Forest of Savior to see what's going on. And we get that little flashback to him introducing her to video games. And she's like, you know what? Yeah, this could be nice. We're going to have fun together, brings us closer together. So she jumps on in, and then we get introduced to her little avatar, which is a little humanoid sort of cat paladin. And super cute little character models.
Very cute.
But then, like you alluded to, Dane, where she's like, God damn it, I dropped 3,000 yen in this game to buy these cute in-game clothes just to sort of, feel better playing with Takuma. Now all that money's gone to waste. And so she's brooding about that, sitting there in the game itself.
And he's unfriended her. Like she just goes in and says, oh, look, he's unfriended me already. Yeah. Oh, nice one. Like, what an asshole. But yeah.
Takuma, not a good guy. So she's letting out her frustration in game, slaying a heap, like farming animals for XP, right. Just killing these low-end little creeps. And this is where Yamada appears. Well, in video game, Afro Yamada, as she calls him.
Afro Yamada.
He rolls in and comes into this farming area. And she was a bit confused at the moment. She's like, who is this guy? Why is he just standing here? Very low energy type of vibe. This is a bit creepy. Yeah. But then the penny drops. She's like, oh, we're in the same guild. Like, what's going on, Yamada? How you doing? What's been happening? But a little aside here, I wrote, and I had to bold it because it was making me crack up, so she's playing a pretty labor-intensive MMO on a little laptop on this tiny little sort of coffee table. No mains power connected, but she is gaming for hours and hours. I'm like, come on,
I didn't even think of that.
Where's the power?
Yeah. This thing, yeah.
And not even with a keyboard. Like she's using keyboard and the touchpad on the laptop. It's not a separate mouse. Like I'm like, man, she's putting in the work.
They really went for that whole first time non-real gamer type thing. But yeah, how does it still go? I have no idea.
Yeah, it's they make the power, the internal batteries on these laptops in this world much stronger than the ones we have over here. That's for sure. But they start having very, very small talk, you could say here, where it's they're texting messages through the guild chat to one another here. We already get a pretty clear understanding that Yamada, he's very aloof, he's very unsociable. Like she's like, hey, how you doing? And it's like 2-minute delays, and he'll just be like, fine. She'll be like, oh, what's news? Nothing. Like he's very, very low, very monotoned, very opposite to Akane, and we're starting to sort of see the chalk and cheese type of dynamic where one's one way and one's the complete opposite way. The odd couple, I guess we could say, hey?
Yep. Yeah, 100%. It's like an Eeyore meets I was just thinking that Daria. Remember Daria? You had Trent. Yes. Yeah, that's pretty much. I was like that when I first sort of met this guy in that sort of scene. I'm like, yeah, it's pretty much Eeyore meets Trent. Trent was very much the way to go on that sort of thing. So, but yeah, very monotone, very aloof. She's sort of like the next part of it is I'm pretty sure that she's like, well, I'm out here grinding because I've just been recently, I was going to say separated, but recently broken up. My heart's been torn up in pieces. And he's just like, okay. Or no, he goes like, oh, yeah, like, yeah, just real, like, okay. And then he doesn't really care. And she's like, no, like, oh, he says, oh, I want this rare thing, or can I take over this area, or can I grind in this area or whatnot? And then she's like, no, you can't. The etiquette of grinding it, like the etiquette of looking in this area of whatever, I'm out here taking out my frustration, blah, 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 blah. And he's just like, yep, no worries, don't care. And then he sort of just disappears sort of thing. And then she's like, it's probably one of my favorite scenes out of this whole episode is the fact that she just goes on that attack mode, just that keyboard warrior, like when she's pouring her heart out, she's frustrated, and yeah, it's totally aloof, just no interest whatsoever.
It's a hilarious scene. So yeah, in this area where she's slaying all these little low-end beasts, there's like a 0.1% drop rate of this super rare item. So Yamada wants to come in here and try and farm it to get this item, ask Akane to leave. Yeah, she sort of says, wait, you're going to cop at both barrels here, like you said, Dane. And she's there, keyboard warrior.
Yeah.
Like
the animation on it is so good.
Yeah, and she's giving it to him both barrels here about the breakup and how she feels and how hard it's been and all this stuff. And then he just completely no-sells and he's like, yep, no worries, and just see you later. Bounces off.
See you later. Logs off.
Yeah, so he heads out. I really like in these scenes as well, we've got this crazy juxtaposition where, especially in that moment where she's really animated and mashing the keyboard with this big venting session towards Yamada, where the Akane model's high levels of detail, but the world around her, it's very, like, the background's real minimalistic and there's shapes and icons and little crazy creatures floating around. So we're getting this sort of mixed reality type of vibe in some of these scenes where the character still looks as you'd expect them to, but the world around them is just this dream space type of environment where there's just stuff flying through the sky and I guess conveying all this swirling emotion that they're feeling. It works really well.
It does work really well with the emotions that she's feeling, definitely.
Yeah, she is riding a emotional roller coaster here, as you'd expect. And so she logs out in frustration of the game as well after Yamada gives her nothing, and she didn't get all the emotional payoff I guess she was hoping from slaying all these little beasties. But as she logs out, she gets a message from the game itself where it's popped up, and they've sort of said within the game there's an event coming up where you can attend and get yourself real items and whatnot. So she's like, oh, okay, there's a 1 year anniversary for the game coming up. It's really close to where Akane lives. Maybe this is the plan here. And we get this dream sequence that happens just after that where Akane and Takuma are having this discussion. And I don't know if this is just in her head or he actually said it to in real life, but he's like, I want to stay with you forever. And you're like, oh, okay, that's sweet. But then broken because she has that other reflective moment again where she's like, hey, he's actually cheating on me this for however long in game and maybe out of game leading up to this breakup. So I was like, man, this son of a bitch. Takuma, I hate you. I hate you.
Yeah. It's so common. And like, that's when she sort of spins just to say, look, I'm going to go there. It's quite a good chance that he's going to be there. And so at least what I can do is do like probably a very common thing, get dressed up, look your best, and just obviously try and show off like that whole, this is what you're missing out on sort of thing.
Yeah. And it's fantastic. I love that sort of little glow up, like hero type of moment she's got going on here where she's like, yeah, I'm going to go to this event. I'm going to stick it up this guy and show him what he's missing. So she goes out, she wrangles in Momo, her friend. They go out shopping. They get all this stuff going on, the new hairstyle, the fancy dress, the high heels, the nice nails, everything like that. So she's put the whole, like, gone the whole 9 yards here to make sure that Takuma is going to be super duper jealous when he sees her at the Forest of Savior event. Momo isn't really vibing with this. She's sort of like, man, like, what are you doing here? Like,
yeah. Why are we doing this? You're really over your ex, aren't you? But she's supportive, and like any best friend, she just wants to be there to help and support. Momo doesn't go to the event, but by the way, she just sort of helps out with the clothes and everything else. But it's really interesting when she does end up going to the events. And she starts talking about like, wow, there's actually a lot of people here. This game is actually quite big. It's quite popular. And even just the comment that she makes about there's a lot of guys here in comparison to girls, which I thought was quite interesting. And they did that on purpose because I'd imagine and it's very stereotypical, but it's like sort of like saying like maybe these in real life sort of conventions or whatever they may be, maybe there is this ratio towards guys over girls, being guys more, these things are more popular for guys. But the fact that it's just brought this awareness to how people really get involved into these sort of events. And, like when I sort of think about it, I think of like when you go to pop culture or anime or PAX or you go to medieval events, how people really, when they have a passion for these things, they really go all in on it. And just like, even for those sort of looking at it as an outsider in or very new to it, you can have really I wouldn't say an interest. It's more so an appreciation, for those that like, you can step back and just say like, wow, I've got a real new perspective and appreciation for what this is and the art that it is.
Yeah, like it really it really sort of magnifies that, Akane wasn't from this world. Like it was very much, she jumped into gaming because of Takuma, and now she's realizing that, this is huge. Like people are all about Forest of Savior and gaming and conventions and things like that. I was curious doing the rewatch and exactly like your train of thought there where you're talking about the ratio typically of some of these industries that are more male dominated compared to females. I was curious if they'd lean into that where they'd be like, oh my God, girls here type of thing. But they didn't play any of that.
No, they didn't play on that, which was really good. All right, like I think that would have been too heavy, like in the sense of like, oh yeah, we've seen this before. You're really playing at that side of it, but I'm glad they didn't do that.
Yeah, they avoided that. There isn't any scenario or situation that plays out here where there's like guys like, oh, who's that? Like, who is this beautiful woman? Because like she's dressed up. Yeah, she's done the makeup, got the new hair because, she clearly wants to go there in the hopes of running into Takuma and making him feel bad about, what he's lost or what he's broken now. So, that's her goal, and nothing really else impedes that situation because, she's just casually walking through here, observing this fantastic Forest of Savior event. Everyone's happy. The sun is shining, rah, 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 rah. But then she sees Takuma in the distance sort of walking towards her down this sort of main concourse, and he sees that he's there with his new girlfriend, and they start walking in another direction. Akane panics and starts to yell out to him and chases after him as she's running towards Takuma. She runs bank smack into Yamada. She loses her shoe in the process, very Cinderella style here.
I was going to say that.
I was like, yeah, buddy, all right, let's go.
They played that well. Yep.
Yeah, and so she runs into him, falls over into a heap, scrapes her leg. So she's sort of now sitting in sitting down on the ground, distraught, teary-eyed, and she hears this voice ask if she's okay, which is Yamada, and she looks up and she sees this very handsome man. They lean heavily into the whole handsome or protagonist in anime, the black hair, the blue eyes,
the
tall,
blue eyes,
the whole look, So he's the stud. Everyone thinks Yamada is fantastic, and she's like, oh, who is this? And I really like the facial animations here that Akane shows. They show a lot of emotion where like the tears are welling up and she's on the sort of edge of breaking down, but seeing this handsome godsend holding her shoe, asking if she's okay, just sort of stops her in her tracks in that moment, pulls those emotions back inside. And I guess there's almost like this subconscious, like, you know what, life's going to be okay. There's this handsome, giant, blue-eyed, dark-haired man here that's asking if I'm all right. He's holding my shoe. Maybe he's my prince and I'm Cinderella here. So what's going to happen here, Dane? What's going to happen?
Oh, mate, it's a nice scene. It's a good scene. And it definitely pictures the moment where she's pretty much hit rock bottom, and the fact that she has that silver lining, that light that shines on it. And the Cinderella moment, as you sort of mentioned, with the boot or the boot, the
high heel,
the glass slipper. It's just a nice moment. But, then you've got a Yamada who's absolutely aloof. And this is the part there where we get the ex-boyfriend. What's his name again?
Takuma.
Takuma. So this is where Takuma sort of like whether he just sort of pops up out of nowhere and he's like, oh my God, it's Mr. Yamada. And then so like he has this moment where like he just absolutely does the fanboy, completely misses out or doesn't even see that Akane is there initially. And Akane like looks at him like, oh wow, I didn't realize you were, here sort of thing. But then you've got Takuma just absolutely fanboying over Yamada, and you're like, oh, why is all this fanboy? And then you soon realize like he's a pro gamer, and then she's like, oh wow, like she's like, oh my God, like are you actually just goes to him and says, are you actually famous? And he's like, well, in the lowest aloof, like, yeah, sort of, yes, locally sort of thing. And like, you've got Takuma just saying like, I'm such a massive fan and all the rest of it. And then that's when, Akane, like again, in complete anime world with the whole eyes and, the devilish, now this is my chance sort of thing, just grabs, Yamada's arm just saying, oh, like, are you here too on a date sort of thing? And, it's just so slapstick comedy sort of thing where, Takuma's just like, oh, when did you get here? Like, didn't even notice her, all the reasons why she was there and the whole like MO, dressing up and all the rest of it. Nah, didn't even pay off, didn't even get the recognition or anything like that. It's a pretty cool scene.
It's a great scene. And just the contrast between all these characters where, when Takuma first sees Yamada and he comes like running in at 1,000,000 miles an hour, you can see Akane first thinking like, oh, he's running towards me to say like how great I look. But like you said, she doesn't exist in this moment. Even though she's standing right beside Yamada, he doesn't see her, doesn't acknowledge her, doesn't even notice that she is here at this event. He's just hard-eyed for Yamada, and he tears on in and he's going on about how he's such a massive fan. And he's just gushing over Yamada, and you can sort of see he just doesn't care, but also doesn't know how to react. Like you said, he's so awkward and so aloof. He's just very low key, doesn't want any of this sort of smoke and any of this attention. And then after that exchange happens, Takuma then realizes that Akane is there. They have an awkward interaction, and he's sort of asking, what are you here for? I didn't expect to see you here. And then, it was like, oh, you're here with your new girlfriend, Takuma. Well, that's so great. I'm here on a date too. And, she sort of tries to wrangle in Yamada at first. He's like, I'm here with Yamada. And you're like, we're not dating. We're not
straight
together.
Up. He's like, no, we're not together. You're not my boyfriend. Yeah. And then, but it's this next scene that is just so good. Like it's just anime at its best, where she's just looking in, like she's just broken. She just see that moment where she's just like, please save me. This is my shot. Like, please come to my aid. Please be my knight in shining armor sort of thing. But the face of just being like, please throw me a bone to say you are my boyfriend. And he's like, no, I'm not. And then, but the anime of like the Takuma and the girlfriend, like what's going on? Like the question marks, the eyes, everything else just saying totally confused. And the fact that she's got to do the bargaining chip just like while they're all there.
She's got to pay him off.
I'll pay you off. I'll give you this little coupon thing. And it's like a reward, but it's a nice throwback to when they first met, which they don't even know this yet, but it like obviously in the talking about like when she's grinding in that, what is it?
In Forest of Savior.
Yeah. They talk about this like 0.01% rarity of this item, which she somehow, by entering into this in real life event, she gets a coupon for it or whatever. And he's like, she's like bargaining, like, please save me and I'll give you this. And he's like, this is a super rare item. Are you sure you're happy to do it? And he's like, and she's like, yes. And then straight away it's like, bang. He's like, yeah, I'm the boyfriend. I'm the boyfriend. Yep. That's me. Pay money, cash, please.
It's so perfect, isn't it?
And it pays off so well. Like, Takuma is just in like complete like, oh my God, how does this happen sort of thing. So it's so good.
And he starts crying. So in that moment, like, where Akane's bartering back and forth with with Yamada to be her, in air quotes, boyfriend. And then, bargains up this super rare item coupon. And he's like, all right, I'm in. I'm your boyfriend. I'll be whatever you want me to be for this coupon. Yep, 100%. And then Takuma breaks down and he starts crying and he's like, I've been messaging you and following you for years, Yamada, and you keep ignoring me. Like, why is life so hard? Rah! And it's a great final sort of scene before we transition forward to Yamada and Akane in a Japanese restaurant. Again, delicious looking food, delicious looking drinks, whether it be the Coke that he's drinking or the beer that Akane is drinking. It's a great situation here, but you can see they're sitting there at this table. He's sort of almost looking towards the door. He's like, I guess my work's done. I've earned this coupon and then some. But Akane, very fragile still after that situation with Takuma, is like, can you stay and keep him company? He's, again, not really keen on the idea, but he's like, as long as you can like keep buying me Cokes, that's fine. So
yeah. He's constantly saying, like, can I go now? And the other thing too is just before the bar scene, like you have this moment, like the anime moment again with the eyes and like the background's all black where she's like victory complete, like she had the win. But then like she could see that with Takuma and the girlfriend, they actually have something there where they're sort of like, he's crying. The girlfriend's like, oh, Takuma. And Takuma's like, oh, whatever her name is. And then she can sort of see, oh man, they've got something. And we had that. And then that's when she goes down that like sadness. So they're in the bar, typical bar scene. Like she's, half done on a, pint of beer sort of thing. This is where the age, you can sort of like then start seeing the age because obviously he's not on the beers. So he's on the Coke. So there's the age gap there. And then, and then like she's just depressed. He's sort of saying, still doesn't know, like she's trying to say, I'm depressed because they have something and that's what we've lost. He's like, who are you talking about? She's like, my ex-boyfriend. He's like, who's your ex-boyfriend? The guy that we ran into. And he's like, who? What was his name? Who are you again? And like, he just says, can I go now? Like, it's just this whole like, and she's just giving it to him. Like, mate, you really are terrible at this, aren't you? And the one thing that I don't know if we said this, but the one thing going back a bit just before the bar scene is that the way, and I missed this saying this before, but the way that when they first interact, and this is Akane and Yamada, when they fall over and he helps her up and things like that, there's this sentence there's the line that he says where he's sort of like, either it's not like, yeah, not interested. And it's like, she's like, oh, I heard this before. And that's when she gets the flashbacks to the in-game with the Afro Yamada. And then that's when she sort of cries out to, or shouts out to Yamada, like, are you Afro Yamada? And he's like, yeah, how do you know me? So it's then when like, okay, she knows who he is. And then in the bar, eventually, after she sort of starts saying like, don't you remember we were online and I was the one that told you about my breakup and that was my boyfriend and, all these things. He's like, oh, okay. You're that paladin, yeah, okay. Can I go now? And he still just doesn't care. And so she's just at a point there where she's probably at the lowest and she's like, oh, look, my boyfriend's dumped me. He's moved on. You don't care. I'm going to the bathroom sort of thing. And I guess then she's sort of just having that self-reflection of like, it's all happening. I'm scuffed. I've got bruises on me, cuts on my legs when I fell over. Like, how could this sort of get any worse? And then she goes back out of the bathroom, back to where they were sitting in the bar, and he's disappeared. So even then she's sort of like, oh, great. All these things have happened. Plus old mate's left me. Like, could this get any worse? And I think this scene this is the pivot change. This is when you're like, oh, wow, the tone really shifts.
Yeah, it really grounds it in some heavy emotion throughout this restaurant-y bar scene here. And yeah, you nailed it where I didn't pick up on it the first time. And even I'm curious for like first-time viewers if they'd sort of connect the dots where, yeah, he's drinking Cokes and she's on the beers. Like, I'm like, would the age gap thing be something that their ears would prick up towards and be like, yep, that's it. And because it doesn't get mentioned at all in his first episode as far as he's in high school, she's in college, anything like that. She just assumes that they're around the same age, being adults doing their thing. But there's some really great animation in a few of these scenes as well, where there's a lot of focus in this episode and throughout the 13-episode season on eyes and showing emotion, whether it be tears, big feels, whether it's happy, sad, or somewhere in between. And there's a great scene where she starts picking and prodding, trying to understand what a pro gamer is. And they have this split. Right. There's a scene where they've sort of split the screen where they're focusing on both Akane and Yamada's eyes, and it is so beautiful. Like, good eyes in anime is one of my favorite things to see, and it's so they nail it throughout this season. Like, I can't speak highly enough. Like, Madhouse are one of the kings and queens of anime, and it sort of runs rampant through these 13 episodes. Like, they are knocking it out of the park scene by scene. But yeah, there's some cool things that we see in these scenes as well before she dips off to the bathroom because she's about to break down, thinking of Takamaru and his shitty girlfriend. But like where she's trying to get context and understanding the world of pro gaming, and she thinks, oh, you play Forest of Savior professionally? He's like, nah, I play FPS. And she's like, huh, what? And we get little
FPS? Yeah.
little sort of hints and little text bars popping up explaining some of these terms. So as someone that doesn't play games, if you're watching it, you won't be swept out to sea going, what are they talking about? What are these acronyms and stuff like that? What are they referencing here? It's all explained really easily, really simply as the episodes unfold. So I like that part. And yeah, we also see this contrast between the two characters where it feels very much like throughout the first half of this episode, Akane, she just wants to be loved. She wants to love somebody. She's happy. She likes relationships. And she starts sort of digging deeper with Yamada and, saying how good looking he is. And you must be fighting off all these women, you must be going through them all and whatever else. And we find out that he's actually never had a girlfriend and that he's not interested in the whole romance thing, which sort of really shocks Akane and sort of confuses her as to like, why? Like, you could have anybody you want. Like, you are a god. Like, look at you. And yet he doesn't want a bar of that. And yeah, then she thinks back to her shitty ex-boyfriend, gets really teary-eyed, bails to the bathroom, realizes that, the beautiful new outfit she's bought's all dirty from when she fell over. She realized that she scraped a leg and she's a bit bloody. We get this really interesting scene here where we're seeing her ex-boyfriend and his new girlfriend. There's this necklace overlaid in the scene, and it doesn't get explained at all in this first episode. But I'm like, this is a weird bit of foreshadowing going on here. Like, this necklace is going to mean something. We don't know in episode 1 what's happened. And yeah, she comes back from the bathroom. She, deep breaths in the bathroom, pulls herself together. But yeah, comes back and it looks like Yamada's done the runner. And so she's like, man, everybody's leaving me. Like, no one wants to be with me. I'm going to be alone forever. So you're like, this poor girl, like, fuck these guys. Like, she's a great girl.
Where's Momo?
Yeah.
Get Momo on the phone.
Yeah. And she says this line where she's like, well, I better get used to being alone because that's going to be my new normal. And you're like, oh my goodness. And then flashing back to the scene where she first falls over and her shoe comes off, Yamada again says like, are you okay? And she turns to him and she's teary-eyed all again. And we find out that Yamada is just a good dude. He actually nipped to the store around the corner to get some Band-Aids because he saw that her leg was cut. And so he went to do that while she was in the bathroom trying to clean herself up. And he sits her down and he delicately puts a Band-Aid on her leg. And I'm like, oh, here's the moment where they fall in love. Yeah. And it's so beautifully animated again.
Yeah, it's so good. They do this really well. Like, it's simplicity, it's the tone, it's just the color, it's the music, it's everything. And just those moments, like, it's a really good balance of doing it. And I think this is where, like, this, I don't understand, what was the other one that I was watching? A
Sign of Affection.
Sorry, yeah. Sign of Affection. Even like Your Lie in April, like, they all do it really well. They know when they can play on it. They know where they can, be funny with it and be comical with it. But just to have these moments where, like, okay, we really got to hit the hard here and just have these moments there, they do it really well here. And this is that turning point where you're like, he's a good dude. He just they're a bit of yin and yang to each other in regards to their personalities and how they are and how they, interact with people. But he's a good dude.
Yeah. I did a very quick 180 because when I first thought that, he did bail because they were leading up to that where he's like, can I go home now? I want to go. I'm done. Yeah. And then I thought, man, has he just picked his gap because she's gone to the bathroom and he shot through? And I'm like, God damn it. Is that going to be the context of this show?
Takuma. Oh, the asshole.
Yeah, this son of a gun. God damn it, you dumb kid. But no, we find out he's just really thoughtful and he's like, you know what, I'm going to go do this little gesture here. And as she's sort of sitting down and getting this Band-Aid applied, like you said, Dane, the use of lighting and the use of sound in this moment, like they let this moment marinate for a good 10 seconds where she's sitting there, he's sort of down on his knee, like not proposing, but like in that position, putting the Band-Aid on. And they're using really great animation. They've got like that bokeh effect, where they sort of like blur the background and have like little round wisps of light and colors circulating around them. It's really, really gorgeous.
just emphasizing the emotion, very much like when she was on that keyboard warrior moment where like she was just hyper focused and raging and all the rest of it. You get the complete Data Light for this one here. So, you know, and she's like, again, she's at her rock bottom. She cannot take any more, this girl. And it's just this true act of kindness that really sort of breaks her for all the right reasons and all the best reasons.
Yeah, and it's really, really like this was one of my favorite scenes in the whole first episode. And Morio Osaka, who directs it, you can see they're very skilled in the way of romance or rom-coms or shoujo anime as well, because he directed My Love Story, which, a bit of inside baseball here, listeners. We actually got our lines crossed when we went to record last week. And I thought we were doing My Love Story. Dane thought we were doing My Love Story with Yamada-kun at Lv999.
Simple mistake.
Yeah, we were both half right. We got the first half of the episode.
Oh, mate, that would have been so much fun if we hit that record. But we picked it up straight up. We both had those light bulb moments. It was so good.
Yeah, but we're here. We're on the same page now talking about Yamada-kun at Lv999. But yeah, Morio Osaka did My Love Story, did Chihara Furo, did Nana, did Chobits, did Gunslinger Girl. So he knows how to direct a good emotional scene, a good heavy hitting scene that's got a nice payoff, whether it be a big one or just a subtle one to, like you said, Dane, like pull you back in. Like it goes a bit funny, a bit silly for a hot minute. And then it goes, you know what? Let's pull you right back in here, grounded again, and make your heart beat. And it's super sweet. And then it throws us back into a funny moment where Akane's crying, I guess, tears of joy in this situation, which is great. And she's like, you know what? I'm going to treat you to anything, whatever you want on the menu. You want all the Cokes, you want all the chicken, whatever, it's all fine. And seeing the contrast of the two characters again, Yamada's like, I just want to go home.
That's it. And that's like, so nothing's changed. He just shows you this glimpse of like how he truly is, you know, all the good stuff, all the flaws sort of thing. So, and it opens it up to what's to come. But again, this is one of the major reasons why I love anime, when it's done really well and they can go from funny, they can go from like story driven, they can, you know, change the narrative and bring it all back so that you can have those feel good moments that cling you to the next episode. I think this is where they do it really, really well. And the fact that like, it's just such a nice genre and it's such a nice series so far that we're talking about this episode 1, where it's just like, it's nice palate cleanser. It's just comfort food. You can do whatever you want to do and watch it. And I think it's going to hit all the heartstrings.
Yeah, it hits a raft of emotions this first episode. And it goes from big feels, big laughs, big sads, and then sort of right back again. And so after we get Yamada just wanting to go home and no longer party in this bar with Akane, we flash forward to next morning. Akane is woken up. You hear this very faint talking in the background. You can't quite work out who it is or what's being said. She wakes up, massive hangover, feeling it from all the beers that she smashed the night before. Wakes up, hearing the voice, head thumping, confused as to where she is. So like, you know, she wakes up and it's like, this isn't her bed. We know what her bedroom looks like from the earlier scenes with Momo. And I'm like, what's happened here? What's going on? And we hear the talking get a little bit more audible and you're like, oh, that's Yamada's voice. What's going on? Oh, he's gaming. And we find out he's playing some games with his crew online. He realizes that Akane has woken up and he turns around. He's like, sorry, boys, I'm going AFK. But before that too, there's one little thing I'm like, man, this guy's just a good, respectful kid, where they're hassling him to turn his webcam on.
Yeah, I was just going to mention that. He's like, you know, like, I'm not turning my webcam on. And like, as you said, that audio sort of gets like a little bit louder. You can start hearing it. And he's like, no, the webcam's not on. No, stop asking me. It's getting old sort of thing. So again, it's just those moments where you're like, hang on, what's happened here? So he's like, she's ended up at his place in the bed, but he's still being very respectful, you know, on that side of things. And then, she wakes up. She has that moment where she sort of realizes where she's at. He turns around. He sort of said, I'm going offline for a minute. And then just looks at her and you could just see once again, those anime eyes just tell you all the emotions as it just dives into her going, what has happened? Where am I? Sort of thing. And like, that's it. And then it's cut scene for the first episode. So it definitely leaves you like, you have that moment in the bar and then you get to this point where you're like, wow, plot twist. How did we get here?
It's a great cliffhanger where, like you said, Akane doesn't like, she clearly knows who he is, but she's like, what the hell happened last night? Like, I'm in your bed. Did we sleep together? Like, what? Like, I have so many questions. As the viewer, you've got so many questions, but yet Yamada is just still cool, calm, and collected. He's just casually gaming, realizes that Akane's woken up. He's like, sorry, boys, I'm out. I'm going AFK. About to put the headset down and ask how she's doing and whatnot. But yeah, seeing Akane just shocked and her eyes are just as big as dinner plates, going like, what the hell? Why am I here? What have I done? And yet Yamada's just chilling, just casual, just cool dude Yamada, just being a cool dude. And yeah, we get the ED that cuts in. Another really fun, whimsical track. It's a song called Trick Art by Ryukin Kiyoshi. And same again, like it's just a little ditty where you sort of start finding yourself like dancing along to it. And the scenes that are accompanying the ED, really cute again. I like that there's a lot of scenes here where they're transitioning between Akane and Yamada's characters in-game and real life, where they'll be doing the same movement, but they'll jump from in-game avatar to real life and back again and transition these scenes really cute. It's just really fun and it leaves you feeling good. Like you said, it's a good palate cleanser and the episode ends on a good cliffhanger, but it's just a good little bop that then makes you feel good after this, like, whoa, this is shocking. But then we get a little end credit stinger where we see.
I'm glad you mentioned that too. Because to be honest, when I first watched this, I didn't realize there was like an end credit part. So I didn't realize there was a bit of Marvel action here. But then it was the second time around, I'm like, there's a bit more. And then like, I didn't realize this became a common theme too. You're talking about the hair, aren't you?
Yeah. And it's fun. Like the little end credit stinger, like it doesn't progress the story. They're just like a nice little after dinner treat. And we see Akane and the stress of creating a character. Like anyone that's played a video game where you've got a character creation in there knows how stressful and daunting that can be, because you only get one crack at making your dream character. And she's there talking about all the bad hairstyles in the game, a little bit of video game social commentary here where she's like, oh, look, all the good haircuts, they're stuck in loot boxes.
Yeah. I love the fact that it's just the introduction of loot boxes. So even just gamers just get a bit of a nod there, like, I feel you.
Yeah. I'm like, I feel you. And she's like, I'd never be lucky enough to get the hairstyle out of them. I'm like, you know what, Akane, if that was me, I'd probably waste a stupid amount of money trying to get a bit of hair.
You would get the full suite.
Yeah. So she keeps sort of skimming through the hair options. And then she's like, oh, I found the cutest one and it's sold at a fixed price. It's reasonable. So she's like, you know what? I'm going to drop some yen on this and get this cute little hairstyle. She logs into the game and instantaneously realizes that, because this cute hairstyle is actually at a reasonable price, everyone in the game that's just started has the same goddamn hair. And then it's end episode completely from there.
I like it. No. It's good. I really enjoyed my time with it. And I have continued with it for full disclosure. And I'm enjoying my time.
Hell yeah. So you've finished the full first episode, like the full season. You've watched all 13 episodes. You're done with Yamada-kun at level 999 at the moment, Mr. P?
Yeah, I'm done. And I love this. Like, I'm back to these little bangers from your recommendations where you've got these like 12 to 13 episodes, which I love, because if you're hooked, you're hooked. And if you're hooked, you can really complete it over the next, like within a week, I reckon, or 12 hours sort of thing. Mm-hmm. So like, it's just one of those ones where you can get hooked. It's not like this massive like One Piece, Dragon Ball Z, all this, even Demon Slayer type levels of episodes. You can get in there, you can get your sweet story, and like I really feel like this comes by the end of it, without giving any spoilers, I really feel like this comes to a really good conclusion where I was really happy with my time with it. But I don't expect it to continue on. Whereas I'm still waiting for season 2 of My Dress Up Darling to drop. So please and thank yous when that can come as fast as you possibly can. The other thing that I'm really enjoying too, and I don't know if anyone notices it, maybe it's just me. So I'm so used to watching animes and I don't pick it out for choice. So please don't come at me. Not you, Mr. Brendan, but like everyone else out there in the internet. But there's no fan service in these things. Like it's just like when you watch anime, there's always like, they do it on a level where it's sort of tasteful, but they do a little bit of fan service here and there. This one, silent voice, a sign of affection, like it's really just clean, wholesome viewing. And it's things that they sort of, I guess, capture the emotions of how you would be at, your teens, your 20s, your mid-20s, your 30s, about going into relationships and, the text messaging, and like, especially now, like I'm so out of the loop, obviously, married with 3 kids. But like how digital technology is sort of like, do they mean this? Do they mean that? Like, what are they? What's the mannerism in these? And so there's plenty of this. And I guess like even with this story, especially with the way that Yamada is, you sort of get to know like it's so hard for her to read him and understand how he's actually feeling and where the lines are drawn because he's just so monotone and he's not experienced at all with sort of girls, nor interested or anything like this. So it's a slow narrative, but I've enjoyed it all the time. And they do it in 13 episodes. So you don't have to wait super long to get an outcome.
Yeah, like they tell a complete story across 13 episodes. They pace it really well. It's relatable. It's thematically accurate, I think, as far as some of the things that they cover off. There's a lot of themes that get tackled throughout those 13 episodes that I think are probably universally relatable, no matter how old you are, no matter where you're from, what walk of life you've sort of been through up until this moment. And yeah, I enjoyed that it is wholesome. Like it is real, and there is a few moments where you're like, man, that is heavy. That is a bit of a heartbreak situation. But yeah, they don't throw in some unnecessary fan service or some awkward semi-nudity and suggested or implied situations. Like it is more grounded in reality compared to some of the other shoujos out there or some of the other rom-coms doing the rounds. But that's no disrespect to those other IP. Some of them are great, and some of the fan service actually adds and elevates to certain anime as well. But what they've done here with Yamada-kun at level 999, I think is really perfect. I really enjoyed it. Like I went back and checked what I scored it on my anime list. I gave it an 8 out of 10. Like if you can't do halves on my anime list, it's got to be like whole numbers.
Yeah, okay.
If I could, I'd probably scored it 8.5, but I'm like, I don't think it's quite a 9, but I'm like, I'm happy with an 8. So that's what I scored that first season when I watched it around this time last year. But yeah, it was a really enjoyable 13 episodes. Didn't overstay its welcome. You get a really great story told over that time period. And if you're still umming and ahhing about if My Love Story with Yamada-kun at level 999 is or isn't for you, if you're a fan of Horimiya, The Angel Next Door Spoils Me Rotten, Recovery of an MMO Junkie, or Love is Hard for Otaku, if you've watched any of those and enjoyed that, they are the most common recommendations as far as if you like this, you're going to love that and vice versa. So if you enjoyed any of those I just mentioned and you're still on the fence, go check out My Love Story with Yamada-kun at level 999 because it is a good time. And yeah, it's just 13 episodes of fun. It's 13 episodes of cozy anime goodness. But Dane, I want to now jump into the last word presented by our friends at Japan Crate. Experience Japan through snacks and knickknacks via monthly package shops courtesy of japancrate.com. And while you're there, be sure to use code 8bit15 at checkout to get yourself 15% off and free shipping to anywhere on planet Earth. Dane, what is your last words, your last word, your last thoughts on My Love Story with Yamada-kun at level 999?
Yeah, it's hard to say what I already haven't said. Like, I enjoyed my time with it. It's so good to sort of go into this genre, one that I probably would have never picked up had I sort of just been scrolling through Crunchyroll or just stayed on like everything else that I've sort of been watching. But even after that Love After World Domination that we watched, I'm glad you recommended this. I enjoyed my time with it. It's not a super long watch. And it was probably the perfect time that I picked this up, purely for the fact that, like, life gets busy, your headspace gets in all different places, hyper-focused on work and family and relationships and all the rest of it. And just to have a bit of comfort food, something that was really easy to watch, that was wholesome, that you didn't really have to, even if you left this for a couple of days, watched a couple of episodes, you wouldn't have to backtrack and work out what you were doing and where they left off. It's pretty easy to pick up from where it sort of left off. I enjoyed it, and I definitely recommend anyone to give it a go. Even if romantic comedies aren't really your thing, give it a crack, and I think it'll really open up some gateways to a couple of other similar animes, because don't be turned off by the name. It's fantastic. Don't be turned off. I mean, the length of it, the length of the name. If that's even a thing, maybe I'm overthinking this. I'm going to start watching like the long name list of stuff.
I'll tell you some to avoid though, because there is some of those long-winded ones which are not very good. I don't want to just say they're poo or bad, but yeah, for me, I don't enjoy some of them because they just feel like they're just churning it out. It's more like quantity over quality with some of those 17-word anime titles, but this one is certainly not in that bucket. This is a great time, 13 episodes, available on Crunchyroll. Dane, I want to also throw one last quick question at you before we get on out of here. I want you to recommend an anime for myself and the listeners to check out. This could be a series, this could be a film, it could be something recent, it could be something old. What's something that you feel everyone out there that's listening or watching needs to check out at least once in their life?
Man, you put me on the spot. How do I recommend something for you that's the encyclopedia now of anime?
Well, I could have watched it. It's fine. I'm happy to rewatch.
Are you? I've recently watched Suzume. So I think Suzume is like, if it's so gorgeous to watch. It's now available on Netflix. I think it's on Crunchyroll as well. It's just such a fantastic watch. Like, put it up high, put it on a big screen, just watch it. Like, I'm not going to go into full spoilers. Just go in there with eyes wide open. And I think you'll have a great time. But Suzume, it's a movie, so don't expect it to be multiple episodes. I think it goes for a bit over an hour and a half. Give it a look. Absolutely gorgeous, beautiful. And I think for anyone that's watched anime, in the first like 10, 15 minutes, when they drop that intro song, you'll sort of either have heard the song before or it'll sort of ring bells and it'll be in your head for the rest of the time. Outside of that, what do you recommend? Like, my gateway entry, I'm not even going to talk about Dragon Ball, Death Note sort of thing. I would suggest, and I've sort of mentioned this before, like, A Silent Voice for me was probably one of the first animes that really made me cry. And it was one of those that, like, I just remember watching it the first time round, and it just makes you realize how powerful anime can be in storytelling, how much of an appreciation through art, like the artwork of anime, the capturing of, faces and expressions and movements and music, how powerful it can really be to express emotions, express different people's experiences, opinions, perspectives on life. If you haven't watched it yet, A Silent Voice, I can't remember off the top of my head how many episodes it is. I don't think it's that many, to be honest. The manga's good if you've ever read that as well, but definitely go in there, watch A Silent Voice. And if you really enjoyed it, I definitely recommend reading the manga, because then if you're really invested into it, the manga actually deep dives into further backgrounds about the characters. And you just get another layer, as you usually do when you're reading a book versus a movie or a manga versus a TV series, about different storytelling. But what you don't get from the manga, like many things like Demon Slayer and that, is just the added emotion that you get driven through the music. And like, again, this is something there. Like, I know you've seen this, mate, but yeah, A Silent Voice. So Suzume, I've given a few, but Suzume, definitely if you're looking for a movie, and A Silent Voice, mate. That's my waffle, but I'll rewatch that. I don't know. I'll rewatch those a couple of times. It is so good.
They're both fantastic.
And it's, sorry, I apologize. It's a movie, mate. It's a movie.
Yeah, I was about to say.
I'm thinking of the manga, but it is a movie. So I've given you two movies. But yeah, the A Silent Voice is a movie. I'm thinking of the manga chapters, but yeah, it's a fantastic movie.
Yeah, both very special, both very heart-wrenching, especially A Silent Voice. Like, A Silent Voice is beautiful. I feel that Suzume was robbed by The Boy and the Heron that won Best Animated Feature at the Golden Globes last year, in my opinion. But yeah, Suzume is awesome, and it is a visual spectacle. So it is some of the most pretty animation you'll ever see. And Makoto Shinkai, who wrote and directed, obviously did things like Your Name. So if you've watched Your Name and love that, why wouldn't you have?
Your Name's great
You'd be all over Suzume. And yeah, Silent Voice is another chef's kiss. They're both about 2 hours long, so it's a bit of an investment, but you can find 2 hours somewhere to be entertained, to be put through the emotional ringer, good, bad, and otherwise for both of them. But both must watch animated films for sure, because they're some of the best storytelling that's happened in the last decade plus, easily. So two excellent recos there, Mr. Dane.
Thank you, my friend.
So Suzume, and a silent voice. Check them out, listeners, but also check us out on them socials. Find Dane at DANEPEVY. You can find me at More Than Senpai on all them socials. You can find what we're doing here with the podcast over on that fantastic new website, morethanhentai.live. For you there, you can get yourself some delicious merchandise, or you can join the Sugoi Squad, should you choose, starting at the low price of $1 per month. You can get exclusive access to content, perks, giveaways, and everything else in between. But be sure to rate, review, subscribe to this podcast, as well as all the other podcasts you listen to on the regular, because those ratings and reviews mean the world to podcasters like ourselves. Whether your anime be subbed, dubbed, or still yet to come, enjoy yourself, stay hungry, and much love to all the gorgeous waifus out there. From Dane and myself, goodbye.
Goodbye, everyone.